Is anxiety needed for anxiety recovery? Or how does medication apply when it comes to anxiety recovery? This is probably the number one most requested question I've gotten. And this is the only topic I've never made a video about on this channel. And there's good reasons why. And in this video, I'm going to explain to you how anxiety and medication work. Is it needed? Is it not? Really breaking down the mechanics. Now, it's very important you watch this video fully, okay? If you're gonna watch this half-heartedly, or if you're gonna only watch segments of it, just cut out of it. Just watch something else, because this is medication, and it's very important that you understand what's happening, what I'm saying, because it's never a substitute for medical advice. And at the end of the day, you should always follow your doctor's prescription. Yeah, you should always follow your doctor's advice. This channel, whether it's this video or any other video, is not a substitute for you and your doctor and what your doctor says, okay? However, I am going to be breaking down the mechanics of how medication plays a factor, and as I've helped people around the world recover, how does that affect if they're taking medication and if they haven't? Because I'm going to be assuming that there's going to be a certain level of understanding in anxiety when I'm making this video, so it's very important that you pay attention and you really focus, okay? With that said, let's get it started. So I'm going to come off the bat and say right away that, do I feel that medication can help you recover from your anxiety symptoms? No, I don't. I feel that at the end of the day, the thing that helps you overcome your symptoms and also make sure you don't fall back into the cycle is learning to desensitize your nervous system. So if you really want to know how to desensitize your nervous system so that your physical symptoms go away, intrusive thoughts, the depersonalization, derealization, all the weird emotions you might be feeling, well, click the link down below and download the desensitization blueprint. And over there, I show you exactly the steps of what you can do to focus on long-term freedom. However, in this video, I'm going to be talking about medication and how that works. Now, one of the biggest questions I get asked is, Shaan, do I need medication to recover? Or what are your thoughts around medication? And before I break into that, I want to share with you my own anxiety recovery journey and how medication played a factor, and if it even played a factor at all, because I don't think a lot of people know this. But when I was going through the anxiety journey, I would say I wasn't even focused on the steps. My recovery journey hadn't even started because I was still struggling. I didn't know why I was experiencing intense palpitations. I was getting really bad digestive symptoms. I had lost, at that point, by the time I took medication, I lost about 25 pounds. Now, I still lost an extra 15 after that. I lost a total of 40 pounds. At my lowest during my anxiety, I was about 40 pounds less. But I wanted to use medication as a last resort. So I tried everything. I went to naturopaths. I went to chiropractors before I even went to get a prescription for medication, because I was trying to find the natural way. And I tried everything, right? I tried GABA. I tried all these different herbal remedies. I don't even remember what it was. I even took lithium and all these different things, these over-the-counter supplements, and none of it really helped. And at that point, I kept going to the chiropractor. He was also a naturopath. I think he got so frustrated with me, and naturally I was getting frustrated too because I wasn't getting better, that he was like, listen, I think you just need to go to a doctor. And I went to the doctor and he was like, yeah, I think you should be on medication. And at that time they gave me Xanax. Xanax didn't do that much for me, to be honest with you. Xanax was prescribed by a GP, a general practitioner. I felt a little bit of the edge come off, but I experienced a little bit of rebound anxiety. And then finally at this point, I gotten so bad that my parents were like, listen, just go to a psychiatrist, just go find somebody. And I remember I got a list of recommended psychiatrists, and I called all of them and I just tried to see who I can get the first appointment with. And I got an appointment with a psychiatrist, talked to them, and he said, we should put you on meds. And so they put me on 3 different meds at that time. They put me on an SSRI. At that time it was Paxil. A lot of people nowadays will take maybe Prozac or Lexapro. I see a lot of that. And a lot of these different SSRIs. At that time, Prozac and Paxil, I think, were the most common ones. However, recently, there's been a lot more of different SSRIs. And then they put me on Klonopin because it was more long lasting, it was more effective, and there was less of a rebound. And because I wasn't able to sleep, I was given trazodone because I just couldn't sleep, and sleeping was a big issue for me. And when I first got these medications, I actually felt better because at that time, I didn't even focus on recovery. I'm just like, this is too painful. This sucks. I just want to feel a little bit better right now. And I actually ended up taking those medications. The thing that probably helped me the most was clonazepam, which was a benzodiazepine. But I always had the fear of, well, I know I'm not supposed to be taking this forever because there's addictive qualities on there. So I had a lot of intrusive thoughts of, well, what happens if I get addicted? And my psychiatrist calmed me down and said, look, I'm keeping a close eye on you. This isn't anything to worry about, but take it right now because it's really going to help. And the SSRIs, what it did for me, the antidepressant, by the way, if you don't know, SSRIs are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. These are something you take every day, and it's supposed to have a more long-lasting effect on anxiety. It's used for anxiety, depression. And what I ended up finding was it didn't really lift my anxiety symptoms. What it did was it just made me feel numb. It just made me feel like I didn't feel anything. I wasn't feeling anxiety. I wasn't really feeling much of anything. And I didn't really like it. So I got very disappointed very quickly because I realized that this wasn't going to get me out. Eventually what I did was I got off of it, and I still struggled after that. So even after I got off of it, I still struggled for, I would say, maybe like 4 or 5 months before I started learning the actual solution to recovery, which is what this channel is about. Then I started making progress. And so a lot of people say, well, what are your thoughts about medication? I am not an absolutist. I am not against it. I am not for it. The most important thing is I don't think medication will help you fully get out of this. I think it can definitely 100% help, but I don't think it's a substitute for learning how to respond to your symptoms. A lot of people say, should I do medication? Should I do this? In this case, it's not an either or. It can be an and. And in the mentorship, we've had people in all different categories. We've had people that are on medication that hop on. We have a small group of people that were not on medication, are in the mentorship, decided to jump on medication later and then decided to hop off. And there's some people that just say, hey, I use this medication for other reasons, and it's great. That group of people is very small, the people that just decide to stay on medication. But when we're getting people to join the mentorship, we pretty much ask them, what are your goals? And what happens is that when people are initially on meds, we're showing them how to respond. And once they feel confident in the response, then what they end up doing is they end up saying, okay, I want to get off these meds. And then it's very easy. We just direct them to their doctor. And so what happens in the mentorship typically is people get off of it, right? Like people end up tapering off over time if that's their goals. Again, it's based on their goals. So I would say, what's your goal here? And whatever your goal is, the focus needs to be on how well are you responding. Your response is going to determine the outcome of medication or not. But I would look at medication this way, okay? I don't think medication will help you recover from it. I look at it as that when people are, especially when they're spiraling out of control, they're falling deeper into the cycle, medication will catch them. And that's great. That's good. It catches them and prevents them from falling deeper. So it kind of stabilizes them. So that's good. And there's nothing wrong with that. I look at it as a crutch for the mind, right? You break your leg, you put a crutch on. Is a crutch bad inherently? No, it's good. It's going to help you. It's going to stabilize things. And so for me, it was just something I never wanted to do. I wanted to overcome it. And I had this natural fear of, what if medication is going to be something I'm going to have to be taking for the rest of my life? But that wasn't the case. Once I learned the solution, once I realized recovery comes from within, I learned how to respond. Did I need the medication? No. But was I ever fully against it? At the time when I was struggling with anxiety, I was, but looking back at it, I don't think if you decide to take medication or not, you're somehow weak or you're broken. There's nothing like that. I still focus on, well, how are you responding to the symptoms, right? Because what it does is that it does take the edge off and it stabilizes you. I have personally found in the mentorship where if you're looking at it as some salvation to help you overcome this, it's not going to do that. And so the last thing I really want to talk about is what are the different types of medications a lot of people take when I see them in the mentorship. Typically it's the SSRIs, right? There's also SNRIs. And then there's a class of benzodiazepines that people take that are more fast acting. And then what I also find is a lot of people take beta blockers, right? And what the beta blockers do is that, especially people that are dealing with fears of high blood pressure or palpitations, it eases those anxiety symptoms. But again, these are things that help reduce the symptoms so that people's anxiety doesn't go up. I hope you understand that in this video, I didn't really tell you, should you take meds, should you not? That's a conversation between you and your doctor, But I do want to be transparent on how medication works in the anxiety recovery space. And the truth is that it's sort of irrelevant. Whether you take meds or not, the focus is, what is your goal? Do you want to take the meds? That's fine. If you don't want to take the meds, you want to taper off, that's cool too. Regardless of what you do, there's no substitute for learning how to respond to your symptoms. And that's why we feel like not just the mentorship, but whoever is helping you on the recovery journey, it's very important to focus on long-term freedom, not short-term comfort. And realizing that recovery does come from within. And as long as you focus on that, whatever your goals are, that'll help. If you want to learn more about the mentorship, you can hit the link down below. You can apply. We're very selective on who we work with because we work with people for an extended period of time. There's a bunch of recovery stories down below too, a bunch of resources for you on your recovery journey. Again, don't use this video as a substitute for medical advice, or don't try to self-diagnose or say, Shaan said to take meds or not. I didn't say any of that. The focus is on focusing on how to respond. And I hope you understand the reason why I've been so hesitant to make this video, because I don't want somebody to misinterpret this video and come up with a conclusion of, oh, I'm supposed to take meds or I'm not supposed to. There's nothing like that. The focus is still on response, okay? So I hope this video helps, and I'll see you in the next one.